Welcome, everybody. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Friday. Hang on a second, I'll figure this out. It says the 5th. Yesterday was the 4th. Happy 4th of July, the morning after. I just am leaving the gym. It's pretty early in the morning. Actually, it's 10 minutes to 7. I finished everything I needed to do and haven't done a YouTube video in a while and thought I would jump on here. I have my phone in the ashtray, so I hope this works out okay. We're going to try it this morning anyway and see what goes on. And do a short little YouTube video. I have my coffee. Obviously, it's from McDonald's. And was over and did a bunch of work at, they open at 5, so I was over there at 5 o'clock doing some blogging and stuff. But anyway, so this morning I wanted to talk about sometimes, people say a lot about we don't get things that we want manifested. And our wishes and desires don't happen, don't come to fruition, right? And the answer generally is kind of an approach of, what would you call it? It's sort of a placebo effect that you hear other people talk about. You really need to accept, believe, and surrender to the possibilities that what your intention is will happen, right? I'm watching the people run. They have a class in the morning and they run and then they work out. I think it's called a cross-training class they do. They're pretty ambitious. I'm not that ambitious. I might lift weights, but that's about it. So it's same for me too. I mean, just as with you guys, it's the same kind of thing. Not everything happens, right? Not everything that I would like seems to happen. And we've talked about this before, but you have to have belief that's impeccable, right? You have to be able to take your belief system and look at all the thoughts that are going into your head in regards to that, right? Let's, rather than use a physical thing, let's just use abundance. Everybody's looking for abundance. So every thought you have that is not about positive, obtaining abundance is working against you and working against it happening. Yeah? All right. So you have to be, I'm going to turn this because I see the sun's coming in a little bit. Sorry about that, you guys. I don't know, maybe the sun's coming in too much. Oh well, we'll figure it out. Today might be a little more sunny until I get a better reading on this. Sorry about it. So in other words, all of the thoughts that you have that are negative thoughts about lacks, thoughts about lack are negative, yeah? They're going to produce more lack. And we have to be able to stop those thoughts from occurring. We have to block them out. we have to block them out completely. I'm going to bring this over here so that that might work a little bit better anyway. For a short period of time, who knows. I'm kind of tanned, I noticed that. I've been down in Arizona and down in the Gulf for a while. I'll just hold it. It's okay. It'll work out fine. So what we need to do is we need to block out, stop, do not allow any thoughts of lack to enter our head. Whenever we have a thought that is not about abundance and obtaining abundance in our life, then we need to stop those, and we need to switch over to, positive thinking about abundance. It has to have the purity. I think you guys understand that. I wonder where that would go. As you can tell, I haven't been doing this for a while, so I'm trying to get reacquainted with it. My apologies. And the other part is you have to have the emotional and, the emotional part, the heightened emotion, they call it. And I'm not sure where this is going to end up being. I'm sorry about that, you guys. Maybe I could take it over here. Oh, that's a lot better. Okay, not that anybody wants to really look at me. I mean, I probably ought to just do podcasts anyway. So we have to have purity of thought into about abundance and not about lack. So if you're living in your car, and that's all you have, you can't be talking about or thinking about, what a disadvantage I'm at. Is it ever going to get any better? Are things ever going to improve? This kind of sucks, right? I can't afford to even get a room with anybody. So all of those thoughts are going to keep you in lack. They're going to keep you in the back of your truck. They're going to keep you in the back seat of your car. They're going to not allow you to find housing, in a stick-built area. No trailers. We don't want to be living in trailers. I mean, if you have to, fine. It's better than a truck or a car, I suppose. So if you start thinking about a vision of the future, think about this now. You have to think and be able to visualize what you would be like not living in your truck or car. And having enough funds, to be able to put yourself indoors somewhere. That kind of makes sense? That sort of makes sense? So visualize. We need to be able to visualize what that looks like. Now, for different people, it's going to be different things, of course. I mean, you might have a nice little rental or a little house. I mean, it doesn't have to be a rental. Visualize that you can own a house, or an expensive one or whatever, down in Padre Island. Go to Realtor.com and Zillow and just different real estate things, and look at pictures and find yourself something that you're attracted to, and then keep looking at that every single day and visualizing yourself there. Not in lack, but you're there successfully and happily, and that's where you want to be. Or maybe it's Northern California, someplace on the ocean or something, and you got this beautiful little house. It doesn't have to be a big monster house. Beautiful little house. Either you're renting it for yourself, or you bought it, or whatever the case is, and you see yourself sitting out there, maybe in the morning having a cup of coffee looking at the ocean, or maybe in the evening sitting around with an iced tea and looking at the ocean. Something that's very pleasing to you, that represents abundance and success and being prosperous and achieving goals that you're looking for. This is really going to be a funny video, isn't it, with me holding this little camera, but we'll fix that by tomorrow maybe. And then the next part of that is, once you can visualize it, you have to meditate on that. You have to be able to meditate and visualize in your meditation, right? Seeing yourself wherever it happens to be, in whatever house that you picked out and you have a picture of, and you're visualizing in great amounts of detail you being there and happy and abundant and joyful. I think it's the Bible. I'm not going to get religious on you guys, but I think it's the Bible that talks about we're entitled to joy and abundance and health. And we need to start thinking like that. We need to believe like that. We need to love ourselves enough to believe that that can and will occur. Anytime you put any doubt of any kind into your brain, it's going to corrupt what your intention happens to be. But anyway, the next part that's really important, and this is pretty simple stuff, you guys understand this, is you have to, it's kind of the placebo effect. When I was doing clinical years ago, I used to talk about the placebo effect, but we just never used the word placebo. Accept, believe, and surrender, is the kind of idea behind placebo. That you accept it regardless, believe in it, accept, believe, and you surrender to it. There is no space for anything but abundance and success. And what happens is if you get that deep enough in your head and your belief system becomes strong enough, right? It messes around. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an MD. I've done clinical psychology for 38 years, and the last 10 years has been research in neuroscience. So my degrees are not medical, okay? And so what happens when you get that kind of a belief system where there are no gaps, it's flawless. What it does is it messes around with your biology and your chemistry, and it turns everything, because we are, a pharmacy, so to speak, and we can produce most any drug that we want just out of the pharmacy in our own bodies through thought alone. And we need to be able to produce chemicals, through the placebo effect that will heighten us, make us less depressed, less anxious. There are drugs that do those kinds of things. And keep us in pretty good spirits, right? All the B drugs and B chemicals make a huge thing, B12 especially. And we need to get our bodies producing those kinds of chemical changes to keep us in a positive frame of mind and where we can actually visualize and feel the effects of positive thinking. So a lot of people get hung up because they don't realize that they're allowing a negative thought in. It's interesting because when we're in stress or survival, and if you're living in the back of your truck, if you're living in the back seat of your car, you're in stress and survival. All right? So all of those stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, all that kind of stuff, all those things are firing off. Yeah? And we get so used to it, we become addicted to the emotional states that we are in each day from day to day. And our bodies start craving that chemical or that emotion. Depression, anxiety. You become despondent. You might become bitter and angry and resentful and all these things that just start coming up. And then what happens is every single day you're looking for that same emotion to get the same effect out of the chemicals that are being fired in your body. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to have that happen. So you need to break that cycle. You need to stop that kind of thought process that's producing those chemicals which are negative. And sometimes we don't even know it or realize that we're having such negative thoughts going on, right? So for the first day, week, it might even take you a few weeks, right? It might take you a few weeks to start catching every single emotion that's going on, every single thought that's going on that is keeping you in lack, right? And as we start getting all of those emotions turned around and thoughts in a more abundant attitude, we start seeing changes wanting to happen. Not that they're gonna just happen, they're just wanting to happen. All of a sudden you start seeing yourself as a different person. Well, maybe my personality can change. Maybe I don't have to be so short with people. Maybe things will improve. Maybe things will get better. Maybe I will have that house down in Padre Island. You just start feeling better, right? So then you start realizing, well, what's my personality, how I think, act, and feel? Well, can I work on that? So you see what you got going on is kind of a snowball effect. There's a bunch of things that start happening, and one leads to the other. And now you're in the business of maybe changing your personality, wanting to change your personality from what it's been. It's been maybe pretty sour. And now you're wanting to not do that. So I guess, there's a whole series. What I ought to do is I ought to just write down the whole thing and make it available for you guys, where if you want to download it or something like that, you can see how things will transition. And of course, there's other aspects of it that, I'm just touching on this. Trust me, I'm just touching on it. If you want consultation, education, or coaching, get a hold of me. It's not something that I can put on a 20-minute video. Trust me, it's not. We could sit here and talk for hours about it. Once you start messing with your personality, you got your body that's going to resist. It's going to say, no, I don't want to do that. Let's do that another day. It's not okay. We're comfortable here in the back of our car or wherever. And so you've heard the phrase, and again, it's just a phrase that somebody uses, crossing the river of change. It's just one way of saying things are going to be difficult because your body, which is addicted to the chemicals, which are the emotions, is going to resist. Just resist what your mind is trying to do differently. And again, this isn't new theory. This isn't new anything. It's what's been going on in psychology and neuroscience for years and years and years. And nowadays it's kind of a trendy deal, and people have come up with words, and it's just words that they use. Anybody can use the words. So anyway, I got to get on with my day. I thought I'd jump on just for, it's 21 minutes, and leave you all with that. JohnZegar.com, JohnZegar.com is my website. Go there, read through it. Gives you some opportunities to jump in and ask questions, and hopefully we build it up into a large enough thing to where we have a little group of students who are wanting to get healthier, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and we can start communicating. We can start doing these YouTube videos or podcasts to where people can call in, people can start participating in this whole process along with me. And I'm just happy to be able to do it. Send your penny, nickel, dimes, quarters, dollars, to my PayPal account, which is just jzegar, JZEGAR @gmail.com. I'm self-supporting, so I have to be able to support myself some way. And coaching is one way, and consultation is another. But anyway, appreciate any and all the help that you can get. So God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I look forward to talking to you all again real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.